be long. I did get called in early. I just got off my second job, but I got called in early for my other job tomorrow, so I'll try to keep this short to the point. Okay, so yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I just don't know, just handy working 100 hours a week and then trying to grind here a little bit, try to put some stuff out for you guys, but we're gonna try. All right, so pretty much just kind of go into this real quick. Really, the team doesn't matter right now. I'm just going to show you the plays. All right, so obviously some of these y'all will already know, but I'm just going to kind of just break it all out for you. First thing I'm going to do is pick the play. So obviously I already know that I love doubles wide slot week. Typically for this one is a left hash. If I'm playing someone that runs like a lot of man coverage or two-man under, anytime I'm seeing man coverage, I want to get a package here, obviously, where I can get my fastest receiver in the slot. Okay, it's going to be important. And then obviously, I use the 4 verts. So usually, like I said, if I catch people spamming either two-man or cover 1, and I'm on the left hash. Now sometimes if they're spamming it and I get put on the right hash, and I'm gonna show you why I don't run it from the right hash. But if I catch them spamming it, usually I'll try to run the ball to or just call or take a sack on the left hash, just so that I can get the ball where I want it. Basically, all you're gonna do versus two-man is you're gonna motion him over here, and you're gonna call a smoke screen on that receiver. Because he's going to be pressed, you're just basically taking that defender out of the equation. On the backside, because the tight end will be a part of the read, so you will go ahead and smart route the tight end, and then on the backside, he's going to have a comeback. All right, I know I don't always do it, but this is the appropriate way to run it versus two-man. Pretty much all you're going to do is the alignment kind of gets weird here. Okay, you pay attention to how the corner is matched up on the slot receiver. Notice how his shoulder is on the inside and his press hand is on the outside, is backed up. So instead of him pivoting his body towards the quarterback, and you kind of zoom in on him, you see how he's faced with his right shoulder pad to the quarterback and his left shoulder. So that means he's basically going to have his back turned. Remember, I always try to tell you guys, if a defender puts himself in a position where his hips are shifted the wrong way or something like that, then he's going to be at a disadvantage, especially in man coverage. Okay? So just kind of paying attention to how he's aligned, not like how the outside corners. See how the outside corners are squared up? You see the guy that's matched up on the receiver that I just motioned over, his alignment looks like he's a pass rusher. Okay? And then he doesn't even have the right shoulder faced in. All right, so instead of him squaring up, he's going to be an easy target to be able to freeform. He's going to get that free release, and you're going to just put it over the top. You've got to come to practice mode. Try to get good at your blues on freeform. Okay, but I want you to pay attention. What makes this work? See how he's on the left? See how his shoulders are squared? Pay close attention, right? See how he's lined up with him? He's in squared. He's going to have a better press animation, but when I motion him this way, watch how his shoulder shifts. Okay, he's not going to square up with me. See how his one shoulder is out in front and his hands behind his back? He's not going to have that same press animation with the motion. Okay? So he's going to be pretty consistent on that release. You can just get it out in front of him every single time. Like I said, you want to practice your blues, but that's ultimately what you're looking for versus two-man. Now, if they're playing cover 1, right? It's really the only times that I'll use this, like cover 1 robber, cover 1 hole. Shouldn't really matter. We'll just do, this is cover 1 hole press. It's going to be a little bit different. All right, so cover one, I'm going to run 2 smokes. I'm still going to run this route over here, but I'm going to put a wheel on the backside. Okay. Now, next year I'm not going to be able to do this, but I'm going to put a wheel on the backside, and then I'm going to run, instead of running that vertical right at that third, I'm just going to run a slant. Okay. So that covers all areas of the field. So if they want to try to use her the running back, then they're going to give me the tight end. I'm not worried about the smoke screens. I'm not going to throw the smoke screens. Man coverage, I'm trying to go down the field because I know I'm going to have a one-on-one somewhere. Okay? You cannot dink and dunk on man coverage, because sometimes you try to dink and dunk and they shade underneath. It's going to be 6 the other way. You got to threaten them downfield. All right? So right here, just kind of wait on it and just fucking get out of my face. My bad. He be doing that, like when he does that shit. I'm trying to show y'all stuff. So I might have to do like a slide protect, and then make sure that the ID is on the password. And I forgot to put the other guy in the thing, but we got Devontae with route tip order. They try this again without no distraction. That should look like that. And then just slide protect the weak side, ID the strong. And just kind of sit there. You wait on it just enough, you should be able to get over the top. The other one, you should be able to hit the other receiver as well. Just kind of go back and look at the replay real quick. You want to double check. He should get that same release that I'll be getting the whole time. The only difference with this is he's not going to run the corner. He's going to run the fade versus cover one. Okay, cover two, he's going to run the corner. Cover one, he's going to run the fade. But really, what you're paying attention to on which person you're going to throw, which way the safety takes off. Okay, then the safety takes off towards the fade, then that's going to give me the wheel. See how he kind of bailed to the fade? That's going to give you the wheel underneath. Now, you could probably do something different with the tight end here. Just kind of play with it, figure out what works for you. So I'm just trying to see, okay, if that slant's not going to be, I could probably actually run a drag. So actually do it like that. That way, it's like I said, you can hit that throw. It's going to be a little difficult. Now, you could probably also run the tight end right at it. So there's just different ways, but mainly it's that wheel. You'd have to slide protect and ID. If I run that right at it, then I can throw over the top like that. But it's a little bit different with Aiden. He's not going to be consistent on making that throw. Because like I said, it's not the corner route. He's just going to be running he's going to be running fade. You got to get more of a lead to the sideline like that. So try to get some air. It's not something, like I said, you'll probably prioritize the wheel route 9 times out of 10. But, that's what I use mainly versus man coverage. Just 2 little concepts, and then we'll just kind of go to the next. Another play that I like, and it's been very consistent for me, is actually in the tight slots flip. Now, I actually use multiple concepts. Like, you could do it from any play, but there's like 2 or 3 concepts that you want. All right. So it doesn't matter what they come out in. What y'all need to do is see this receiver right here behind the tight end. Put him in a flat, and then you motion your motion. So he follows, and it's man. You're gonna put him in a zig. Okay. And then what's gonna happen is you're gonna have, now if you're playing mutt, you could probably put him in a corner route or something. But you just read the flat and then throw the zig underneath. But practice, they're gonna shade weird and shit. But we'll fix it here in a sec. but it'll be flat. And sometimes like they follow like that. If two defenders go over there, and I don't like it, you know, I might just run a drag or something. You know, read the flat, throw the drag. I think I got it on random play. All right. Looks like a different play. So this zone. Sometimes like, I can do creative stuff. Like I can space them out with a hitch flat or something like that. And then just read off the flat, the hitch, and then the dig. Obviously, you got to slide protect. I don't think I stepped out of the invisible pocket. Yeah. All right, so I need to pump that. It's like some formations are going to give you like a 3-4 step drop back, and you're already four yards behind the center. And what that does is if you escape that little 5-yard circumference circle between the tackle, you know, the center is going to be your center point alignment of where you need to be. So that means I actually need to be a little bit closer, like 3 yards behind the center when I throw it, so I have a clean pocket. If I step back or drop back, or you know, it's gonna cause disengages and stuff. So you just need to make sure we get this down pat. So this is going to be your route concept versus zone. It's going to be simple hitch, flat, dig. You just read off the flat. I love spacing concepts against zone. I'm not going to really too much go deep against zone because sometimes I try to go deep with a bad quarterback. It just never tends to work out. So like I said, if he follows me over, I might be like, okay, let's do it like this. I could actually run the hitch with the tight end and the flat right there. So I've got two different ways that I can send that dig. And then look at that. Oh. Just get that flat. You want to kind of force them to shade their coverages, because sometimes when they global shade, they cancel their match coverages. You know, and once I get default zones on the field, that's when I start to do my attack. So like I said, I see him follow all the way across. I only see him. So we're gonna go hitch, flat, dig. So read the flat, boom, just quick pass, easy yards. Now this motion is going to open up other things, like if you like to run or something like that. It's going to give you flexibility. You know, as long as there's consistency in what you're doing, it's going to give you flexibility. So again, I could run a flat with a tight end with that China route right behind it. There's different ways. Like I could do the flat zig, or I could go that flat China route to the out. And then the thing, I think you could smart route this. Yeah. So you could smart route that route, and then you could hitch the tight end, and then you can bring him over and run the flat. So you get your nice little spacing to the out, force him to come in, and then if you have time, you could throw that. Or you can actually run that with an in route. So let's say I just run a traditional in, and then run that, and then run that flat right up under it, just like that. So now he has to worry about the flat, the China, and then I could probably do something different. I could probably run a fade off of that. So again, now in mud, I'll probably do like a corner route, right? So if I get that smart and then run him flat, obviously you read the flat hold. Look at that. Let me slow that down. So some of this is just me laughing, you know, but this route concept is going to be hard for people to defend because it's like a weird bunch. You don't usually get that type of an alignment of two receivers you can't press, and then a tight end on the line of scrimmage who's basically going to overpower any cornerback that tries to press him. Next year I'm going to have Brock Bowers. You know, so I wish a motherfucker would try to press me. All right. But he has when you put the fade, he's going to have a different footstep, you know? And what happens when you get all of these guys, like if they're playing man coverage, you know, he's going to be manned up with him. Well, he's going to the flat. Watch this. So when he goes to the flat, it's going to freeze the outside corner because the outside corner is responsible for this tight end. This guy is playing press coverage. You cannot press these compressed sets. What happens? The guy that's responsible for him got jammed up with the tight end, a guy that he's not supposed to be defending. Okay? So just kind of pay attention. That's why I try to tell people, don't press everybody all the time. You never know what people got cooking up. Again, I might run that fade and then run that drag right there and then just boom over the top. Easy money. He's going to have to worry about it. What's going to happen is eventually you're going to start playing people that start base aligning and, you know, start trying to enable their coverage and shit, thinking they're getting cute. Well, when they do that, you can set this stuff up to come flood the middle of the field. If you start seeing them putting their corners and flats and curls and setting their zone drops, trying to worry about what you're doing on one side, this play is already designed for you to come directly at them at the middle of the field. So let's say I run hitch and a drag, just like that. That is a very good route concept. Watch it. Boom, drag, hitch, dig. Just kind of slow down. I know my quarterback ain't super accurate, but like I said, they start mabling, they're going to give you that middle of the field. Most people mabel, they're in a cover 2. You know? Drag, hitch, dig. Read it and weep, motherfucker. Easy money. Middle of the field, that it can give you the high-low with the drag and the dig. And then if it's zoned, you have that hitch route sitting out there. Now, if you feel like they're not putting flats on the field, you can always just put them in a flat. You know, just kind of do a side swipe. Boom. You got to respect the flat. Obviously, my quarterback's perfect, but you get the idea of what we're trying to impose here. Like that's the ultimatum. Now, I want to be able to do more stuff with this. Still playing with it at the moment. I know that so this is a new motion for me. Okay, so I'm just trying to play with it, see what I can create. So actually another concept that you can throw in here is the ghost flat route. It's one of the favorite underneath zone concepts that I use. And if you have like a hot route mastery, pretty much you could send both of these guys on the outside and this tight end. You can send them vertical, or you could send him vertical and him to the flat underneath and then run a crosser over the top of that. Now what's going to happen there is just instead of them just having a vert crosser, now they're going to have 2 verts pulling any deep zones, and then they got 2 underneath zones pulling them down, and it's going to stretch the middle of the field to have plenty of clear out for you know, if you have a hot route master for your, you know, for a crossing route, you know. And most users go after the crossing route. Well, if you're going after the crossing route, someone's open. Okay, so you kind of show you boom, flat, and you just kind of easy check downs. You ain't really got to force anything. You know, just take the easy 2-3 yards. You know, see if we can get people to bite down. There's some other concepts in here that I like. You know, like I said, I'm just playing with some of the motions, seeing what I can create. Okay, so this will be another one. That gives me a viable read on the backside. Obviously, like I said, I have Jacobs. I just want to put that little route right there like that, and then keep imposing my will with that flat China concept. Pretty deadly. So now I could probably do that with an out route. If I do it with an out route and decide to bring him in on a drag to kind of hold the user, or if the out route don't work for me, I could probably just put the tight end in a quick flat. You know, of course, you got to take something, bro. When you play zone, the best way to attack zone is space the routes. You don't want two of your receivers going into the same vicinity all the time. So just kind of get good with your route concepts, whatever it is that you're trying to do. You see right there, boom, okay. Space them out and attack. So it's just, you know, a lot of flexibility that you're going to be able to do out of this formation. And like I said, you're also going to be able to, you know, obviously you keep doing these motions. You're going to be able to set up runs, you know, and set it up, and they won't expect it, especially if they're pass committing. You know, you can open up runs. Now, it's not saying that I would spam the motion run too much. Just do it enough to keep them honest. Because if you're constantly just doing the same motion hike, you know, if you do it too much, you're going to create block sheds, or if you don't hike it at the right time, you're going to create a block shed. And I always try to, you know, put a point of emphasis on that, especially like if you're hitting turbo because you got to hit a gap real fast or something like that. Because when you're doing a motion, you're bringing extra bodies to the box. You know, so if you're not careful with your motion hikes, you could potentially create a block shed and be tackled for a loss if you don't know what you're doing. Just doing something, just be doing it. Don't do that, okay? But this is just another formation that's going to help you guys attack a lot of, you know, zones with unique spacing concepts that, you know, you don't really see a lot of people talking about. Let me see if there's some other plays that, and y'all guys are going to start seeing me use some of these. I know I've used a lot of these off screen to know that they are good enough and consistent enough for you guys to rack up some wins. The next one that I'm going to kind of go over here is going to be in the gun bunch. I know everybody has their plays and stuff, but the one that I want to go over really that I think is underrated is the Y curl. Now, there's a couple of ways to run this. You can actually smart route this dig. And if I smart route that dig, usually I'm going to bring this receiver in, and I'm just going to run a drag. Now, I could either run drag or I can run hitch. It really depends. If it's man, I run the drag. If it's zone, I'm going to run the hitch. Okay? So it's just kind of paying attention to what you see on the field. But I also like cover two. I like to run this drag to hold those underneath zones down. So if it's that, usually I'm just going to catch there, and I'm going to wait for that backside to open up. So like right there, that's obviously going to be some type of man, some type of press. So just kind of do it like that. And another thing that you can do is probably, you know, run a mesh out of this. That way you get a double high-low. You force a lot of traffic to open up that route even more. You're going to force users to kind of respect, if you can get it, users would respect this enough that it will get them out of the box, stop blitzing. Okay? That's the main thing that you want to do, is get them out of the box. And that, you know, that's my version of a mesh concept. Everybody else, you know, they run the stop meshes. I'm trying to go down the field. Like if you're in man coverage, I'm not going for like the little short shit. You know, I'm gonna mesh you underneath, and I'm gonna have that route come right over the top if you keep doing it. Just like that. Simple, effective. Okay. Now, that wheel route is also viable. Okay, I'm not sure if he's going to still give me that. We can see. Because the safety, I would have to wait for him to line up with the safety before I throw it. That's assuming that he stops blitzing. But that's the main thing that I want you guys to do. If y'all are running this, run it just like this. All right? You're going to mesh it. 2 crossers, especially if they're running match, you can get an easy completion to your receiver coming across the middle of the field. Now, if they get to a point where they're keying in on that, we start to mix things up a little bit. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to space. I don't want 2 routes going deep. So what I want to do is I want to actually space and run a flat. I got to double check and make sure they don't bump into each other. Okay, so he runs the flat, and then he runs the underneath. Now, I know against like cover 2, you can get that quick pass. Like if you pass it like low and inside, you possibly get that. But it's still in the works. I know I don't use it as much as I would like to, but I mean, there's obviously some potential with it. Want to say, shit. What else I want to run out of this? You got to bear with me here. I think that's really it, because I don't want to be too complex and be about, be all about trying to get all these other reads when you really don't need like all those other reads. Like, I guess if you wanted to have that deep, the other alternative way to run this would be to take the tight end over here and drag them and then smart route it and run it like that. And then probably if you had a running back with like some type of hot route master, you could put like a ghost or a flat. So obviously the only person that I got that has that is going to be Jacobs for right now. So I can kind of implement a little bit of what you guys would see in Mud if someone was running this type of offense. So obviously it'd be ghost route on the back side. It'd be just like I could actually run a double drag. And then that ghost route would just be sitting underneath. So it'll be a viable option. Obviously, you're just going to take the first one that comes to you. Pretty simple. Like I said, the Y curl is about your meshing, how you want to mesh, how you want to get your isolation, so on and so forth. Like, for instance, I may decide I want to mesh the tight end and the running back like an inside cross, just like that. Okay? So, boom, tight end, running back, and you got your receiver just like that. The meshes are going to mesh, especially like a lot of people that run match coverages. Like if you know how to mesh and spot your receivers, you can, pick match coverages apart. Expect match coverages to be a dominant portion of defense next year, especially with the route stems. Because if you run a drop defense and you start setting zone drops, you're going to be in trouble, okay? Because the route stems are a counter to people that like to set, deep zone drops. People that like to sit in 25-yard curl flats the whole fucking game. Well, okay, you're going to run 25-yard curls. Let me run a 40-yard post over. Let me run a 15-yard dig. Let me run something under your zone drops and just take what's given. Okay? So I'm telling you, match coverage is going to be the advantage next year as far as defense goes, because everything's going to plaster more in match as opposed to you just sitting sitting somewhere on the field and expecting them to just throw it to you. I don't really run a lot of crossers in my offense, so I'm not going to be sitting over there with you trying to throw, have a curl flat sitting over here. I'm not going to be there. Okay, so that's just something that you guys can consider moving forward. Another play in here that you can use to set up for, obviously I like to use the screen, but we got two more. It's going to be the verticals and bench pivot. Just do random plays. If it's man or anything situational like this, then we're not going to run the technical too much. So what I'll do if I see that, so I want to clear that box out, and I'll move the tight end over here, run the drag, and then if it's zone, I'll usually I like the little hitch concept behind it, and then obviously you just kind of run it. You get a chip block, you got the hitch, and sometimes that hitch will act as it'll act as a magnet, if you know. But right here, mainly what we want to do is we want to run that zig route. He's going to run in, and it's going to get him. Okay, but you just got to get better at free form. Try not to get KO'd. But you don't run the zig if it's cluster fucked over there. Just enough to hold it down. You still got to get better with that one, Aiden. But we'll get you. And just hit him right there. You ain't really got to worry about other reads. Everything else is just going to kind of clear out for you. Got boom. Simple. Yeah, like I said, I got on random coverages. Now, another thing I could do is I can run a comeback, smart comeback over there and then do it like that. Now, this one might warrant and be a little bit more effective. I don't know why that was out of reach pass. Having that bullshit today. But just like that, smart comeback. Come on, Aiden. We'll do this today. First people, it's the pass rush. Me, it's the damn quarterback. Don't want to make these throws. But you can see right there, the smart comeback comes shorter. So if they have match on, you can prevent them from bailing to defend the deep cross. And obviously you can kind of look. You can call it playmaker right there, especially once he plants his feet. But this works, typical any cover three. Just get over there. Really want to. If you're playing mud, max security or something that would give you good possession catches would be advised. And obviously, Aiden's just not. See, most people, like I said, when they do these, it's the pass rush. But if you notice me, I'm not moving up. The pass rush isn't good. I'm just sitting in the pocket and throwing. I probably could add a pump fake to this. Smart comeback. So I can actually pump fake, lane pocket, and then just hail that bitch. Assuming I don't get pressured enough. But that was idealistically what I was looking for. So, pump fake, lane pocket. Aiden just got to get it. Still working with it. Work in progress. Trying to figure out if there's something I can do with the running back. So I mean, it's there. Obviously, most people play with better quarterbacks than I do, but y'all get the idea. And really, that route concept now in mud, I'll be able to set that imagery up by putting the deep cross or the zig, because I can get, with the ability of my quarterback, I can actually get two of those ability, two hot routes off and sell that I'm doing the 4 verts. Instead, I'll do the screen. Now, in practice mode, it's not going to let me do that for you guys, unfortunately, but you get the idea, okay? It's just something that you can add. But other than that, that's really the main plays, and then the last one is going to be bench pivot. Now, with bench pivot, now if we get stem routes, this is going to be very good, because then you can actually change the depth of where he's going to be at. I'm not sure if I move him to the other side, if he gets closer. Kind of play with it and see. But usually I like to run that dig right over that whip route. Okay. Now, as far as the receiver on the other side, you want to do the same thing like I was showing you earlier. But this time you're actually going to run a zig route. The reason why we're going to run that zig is because we're blocking the running back, and I don't have anything to manipulate that zone that's right there. If I'm blocking the running back and he's lined up with him in zone and nothing comes near him, he's just going to bail, and he's going to be in the way of that dig route that I got coming. So the zig routes are great at manipulating inside zones to pull them out and stretch them, okay? So that's the main purpose of that route concept. And usually, like I said, I'll read the little whip route underneath, see if it's there. If not, we're going to get that dig route. I'll just kind of slow it down so that you guys can understand why I have this zig on the backside. So he's going to pull in just enough. If I got 2 of them pulling, depending on what hash you're on, it might affect him enough to keep him from dropping back. You see how in this instance, it was the whip route, surprisingly, that navigated his attention. And you can see with them playing match on, it takes all of them out of position to make a play on the ball. Okay? So it's just something to look at. And then you kind of just go back and you look. So I have a quick pass to the tight end that's open right there. But he'll probably be first on the read progression if that's what I do. So again, just like that. I probably don't even need to do that. I could probably actually just run a smoke screen on the backside. And then just put it at tight end. Easy money, bro. You don't see people using bench pivot as much anymore. Like, it's a solid must-have. So it's going to be smoke screen, dig. Now, if you have a route apprentice, you can actually run a post over this. Put it over like that. Force him to play down. Now we get the high-lows on the field. And you can just go through your read progression at that. But usually, like I said, if I see a third, I'm not going to run that post. I'm just going to run it like this. He's going to pull him, just give me enough space to fire that in. Like I said, that dig from that bunch side is the main thing. A lot of people try to run the point receiver as the vertical. I don't, because, usually you're the point receiver, you're going to get jammed a lot. A lot harder, and you're not going to get the separation that you want. A lot of people see bunch and they're just trying to blitz you, or they're just going to press you to death. Obviously, I'm not using Tucker to deal with that. I'm just letting him play them little underneath routes. Let's try to see if there's something I can create. Read. I could have actually made that throw, but y'all get the idea. So those are going to be your go-to plays for gun bunch that you can kind of work with. There are some other ones that you can kind of find, your moniker with. but I don't want to be too technical. I just want to be, give y'all the plays that are going to be guaranteed for you. Okay. Just trying to see if there's any more that I can find. I do like this Y-off trio. Another play that I like in it, there's actually a couple. I like the cross. This was that situation I was telling you earlier with that concept. You want to put your fastest receiver on the cross. So it'd be the cross. Let's say it's just running cover 3, right? Now, crossers beat cover 3, but a lot of the issues that people do this wrong is they want to run a vert with the cross underneath. Well, if you're going up against the cover 3 sky, those curl flats, they're not playing the short routes. Okay? They're playing the medium routes. And if you're running a crosser, 9 times out of 10, that crosser is going to be running right into that curl flat. And they might lurk it. And you're like, well, it's a cover 3 beat. Motherfucker, it's a cover 3 sky. It's going to play over the top. All right? So all you're going to do, pretty simple. Motion them to the slot, put them in the flat. So this is that route concept that I was telling you about, where you got that flat ghost, and then you're going to stress that coverage. Now, what am I going to do as far as dealing with the vertical?
21.
I'm just going to send that tight end right up there up the middle of the field. All right? So we got the flat, boom, and then the crosser. And you just check down. If it ain't there, check down the ghost route. If you don't get the look you like, that's all you got to do.
I got you. Flag!
And next year I might have brought fucking Bowers. Just kind of hit it. It's going to be a little tough. Now, if you feel as if that one is playing too close, you can actually see the best thing I want to do here.
I got you.
You could actually do a double motion. So you can get the flat,
I got you.
pull him.
Clock! Hey, gun!
And then run the vertical right there. And if you just get enough time, you should be able to get the crosser. Like I said, it'll be a little risky. If you're playing a persistent user that just wants to stay in the back. But the main thing is, like, you got 2 routes right here that split a flat defender, and they both already turn their back to the quarterback. They ready for the ball. So you can get easy rack yards off of that alone. So you see I stepped up into the pocket. Now, another thing that I notice is I'm getting jammed on the crosser, and I'm not getting touched on the dig route. So what I could do is I could probably, instead of running that, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to run the comeback as my cross area beater, and then run the drag underneath, or I could run the zig. Okay.
11. I got you.
So I just want to space that third out so that I can use that zig to potentially open that up. So I'm going to play with it a little bit. I might have to run.
Here we go. 11.
Like a double zig here.
Hey, gun. 21. Here we go. I got you. Hey, gun.
Let's see how this plays.
12.
So if I run the crosser, he needs to come underneath, off the backside. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right there. So he'll hold 49 down.
Here we go.
So that'll be.
I got you.
Figure out what I want to do. I could run a
Hey,
post
gun. 65.
right at the
65.
third. And then I can run
21.
him to the flat, and then
12, fellas,
get
here we
him
go.
out off the backside. And then, since I have both of those coming,
1, Omaha. I got you. 2.
we're going to actually do block curl right there. Play with this. One of them things that you're just going to have to kind of play. Yeah, I can run through it real quick. You know, like I said, it's just plays that I use, you know, and that's pretty much most of the offense. There's some other stuff that I'm labbing, you know, just, you know, try to be creative towards the end of the year. But yeah, I can show you the defense. It's no problem. Go random play.
Let's go.
Probably. Now, there's a couple of adjustments that you're going to have to turn on, I think, first thing. And then, obviously, your depth chart is important, like, for whatever formation you're running. First thing you do, you go to your coaching adjustment, you turn your match on. Leave all your zone drops default. Do not fucking touch these at all. Okay? This is for people that are fucking DTDs, like special ed. Alright? They do not fucking help your defense at all. They make you play really fucking soft in coverage. Okay? It's for people that, like, I'm guessing if you're playing someone that just wants to spam a crosser the entire fucking game, then by all means, you know, you can use it if you know exactly how far the crosser's going. But other than that, don't fucking touch these, okay? It's going to turn your matching off. You're not going to play sticky coverage. You're just going to be out there sitting in the field fucking twiddling your fucking thumbs like you're, you know, playing 9-10-year-old baseball league fucking shit, waiting for a pop fly in the outfield. Okay, we're not doing that here. We're playing defense. All right? So I don't fuck with the tackling if you have big hitter traits on your defense, like you know your roster, then you can turn it on. But the Raiders don't have a lot of big hitter traits. I've turned it on, and you're going to get matched up with the fucking Eagles and Chiefs, all the top tier teams. They're not going to fucking fumble the ball for shit. All right, so I leave that alone. No point for me to have it on if I'm constantly playing top tier teams. Same thing with the strip ball. It's shit's like not effective for me. So I don't bother with it. Option defense, I always go conservative. Okay? I can still play the running back on option plays with this on conservative, whereas I can't play the quarterback if it's on aggressive. It's weird, but that's just how it is because I play run fit defense. So if I focus on the quarterback, I can still handle the quarterback and the running back as well. So conservative is going to be the best way and option for you guys, especially if you deal with Lamar Jacksons and Kyler Murray, you know, all the little fucks that think they want to run out to the sideline and throw post routes and shit. No. Put that shit on conservative. And then as far as my alignment go, I go man alignment with my matches on. I'll show you. It's going to help you with your adjustments. Like, it's going to basically give you a tell if you're aligned wrong. And it's also going to give you a tell if you need to man somebody up. Okay? So let's kind of get into it. One of the first things that I do is I want to change this linebacker and this linebacker for guys that I trust. I also need to do one more thing. So I need to check my left end and right end. Yeah, I need to move him to right end. I need to move him to left end. So we got to make some changes. My left right end is going to be Johnson. I'm going to keep Tyree at the right end. Now it's going to require that I change up my packages to play with this a little bit. But you want to get any package really. Just, you play with your secondary, your coverage, your linebackers. That's fine because we're going to change 2 linebackers in here, and it's gonna be everything that you need. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure I'm in a package where I have. All right. So I'm going to put a guy here that can pass rush. So you basically go. It helps a little bit to know your roster. So you go to your off-ball linebackers, and what we're looking for is not just speed. You're also looking for like acceleration. See, Bolton's got good acceleration, but he doesn't have very good awareness. So I mean, that's like the next trait that you're thinking about. So I mean, either or could be good. You just kind of look for like change of direction, tackling. Find traits that stand out. Whatever your team is, just you're looking for traits that stand out that you can utilize. Now, I know both of these guys have aggressive ball traits. So I'm kind of paying attention. I was like, okay, he has a 90 jump. He has an 80 jump. One of these is going to be a blitzer, okay? One of these is going to be coverage. So blitzer doesn't need to have high jump. Coverage does. Speed's not everything. Not for real. You more or less agility and acceleration when you're in the box. You're also looking at block shed. Obviously, you want your better block shed on the outside. You want better pursuit on the inside. And as long as they got 60 zone, they can play the flat. So that's another thing that you're paying attention to as well. All right, so from the looks of this, Bolton will be playing outside. Bernie will be playing inside for me. So go ahead and make that sub. Bernie is going to be there. Bolton is going to be there. And that's going to be pretty much the setup. So now, if Crosby gets tired in here, I can always just sub him out with a fresh pass rusher with a outside linebacker flip. Okay? So I can rotate my guys a lot more efficiently now. So one of the first plays that I'm going to go over is going to be the buck pinch. Now I'm going to show you all the plays. I used the buck pinch. I used the Tampa 2. I used the wheel buck press. Occasionally I used the trap. But then I used the crossfire, and then I used the cover 4 quarters. Those are the plays that I use. Now, one that I want to send pressure out of to kind of fill people out, see how they handle pressure, is going to be the bench puck. The pinch buck. My bad. Just kind of find. Usually I like to use this like versus trips and stuff. I'm not sure if there's a trips in this specific. They got a tray open. Okay, they got a tray like flex. So I just go random play from here. So it's pretty simple with the matches on. First thing you want to do is pinch your linebackers, because the rule number 1 for playing defense is you do not want off-ball linebackers lined up in the trenches. They're not going to be able to shed. Okay? So we don't want that. We want him to be in an off-ball alignment so that he can shoot gaps. Okay? So you're going to pinch your linebackers so that he gets right there. And then you pay attention to the angles. You see how this defensive tackle shifted to the inside? That's going to tell me to shift that line over this way. So now I should have that linebacker screaming right behind him. All right? That's if it doesn't get picked up. The next thing that we want to do is we want to kind of handle the coverage. Usually I go combo coverage with man and zone. So usually, most of the time, I'm manning the slot and I'm zoning the safety and the outside. So the first one that I want to put on is what I call a Meg assignment. Man everywhere he goes. You're going to put him in outside quarter. Same thing with the safety. He's going to be in a Meg on the inside number 3. He's going to be in an inside quarter. You're going to leave the slot man up unless it comes to a situation where I need to put him in a zone. I will. The last thing, your user needs to be in a zone. Why does your user need to be in a zone? So that you don't fall for play fakes. If you line up your user in a man or blitz or something like that, That's going to be his technical assignment. Even though it's your user, he's going to be more vulnerable to certain things like pump fakes and, you know, route changes and stuff like that. So if you put him in a zone, then he's less likely to get faked if you're using him. Okay. Also, if you're in MUT, if you got like a KO on a zone, put your user in that zone that he can KO with. Okay. So it basically gives you a benefit. Now, do not press this guy. It's a fucking tight end. Okay. You don't have nobody that can press a tight end. You shouldn't be pressing. Give him some space. Let him run a route. Let him meet you halfway. All right. You don't got nobody that can press a tight end. Don't fucking do it. All right. Other than that, that's pretty much how I run it. And then just wait for him to come to me, and then I hold L1 with the defensive assist, and right there, like I said, it comes screaming. I'll slow it down for you guys. Just kind of pay attention. It's just a running back just doesn't know to block. It's too much. You see right there, and that's before the routes even develop. Like, it's just already. And I want to show you that the outside quarter is going to plant down on dig routes. This is why I start off with the outside quarter, so he can plant down on dig routes. Now, if you're in MUT, you have short route KO, deep route KO, or short, flat zone KO or deep zone KO, and they run this route concept, this levels concept. Well, that's a flat zone, my friend. Even if I'm in an outside quarter, it's a match zone. So if I'm in a zone and I'm playing a flat, it doesn't matter if I'm in an outside quarter. My flat zone trigger will give me the knockout. Okay? So that's why you want to run match coverages, so that you can get extra benefits from it. Early in the year, you turn your matches on, even if you're playing a third, you show blitz and people want to run RPO slants. Well, guess what? That third can still be a flat zone KO. You can get the benefit from it. Okay? So this was just, show you the second guy and man him up so that he don't get manipulated vertically. Okay? The Meg defender is going to play inside. See how he steps inside a few steps before he comes to it? He's going to get out in front of that. Obviously, if you are playing MUT, your safeties need to have mid-zone KO, deep out KO. You do not need deep in KO. Okay? Because mid-zone KO, for the most part, with this defense, it's going to KO any route that they try to do, especially if you're sending heat. Deep end zone, they're not going to have time to get a deep end, a deep route down the field. Okay? I'll just show you again. Wait till him to come to me. Solid run defense is in there too, so obviously I don't have Jenkins in there with this specific cast, but usually I have Jenkins in there like a nose tackle. If it comes down to that point, you're trying to run a screen on me, it's not going to work. Like, people really, like, this neutralizes trips, tray wide flexes, stuff like that. There's nowhere to go. It's just back. They're not even going to have time to sit in the pocket, That's how I run it versus trips. I sometimes try to test people, and I might run it against, let's say, give you a good example. Let's say it's tray open. So random tray open. Same thing. Now, tray open, notice that this is the blitzing linebacker, right? Notice how the shift is to the left. The shift's always going to be to the running back. Well, if I'm in that situation, then instead of me sliding the line to the left like that, sometimes I might just pinch down because these two guys are too wide for me right now. Unless I want to play coverage, they're too wide. I don't want them to be too wide, so I'm going to pinch. Okay? And then I'm going to move my linebacker right here, and I'm going to change up the coverage a little bit. All right? I'm going to press him, put a third. I should get a super wind press animation. Now I can actually show blitz with this. Trying to see the best way to do this. Probably move him down. Move him right there. That way you can get where you want for the inside. Okay. And that's going to be pretty much like that. And then I just check for the running back. See how that outside quarter planted down? See, that's the outside quarter. See the outside zone over here? He's an outside quarter. Watch how he takes the in route. As soon as he sees it, he's coming down for it. Now, if you're in mud, you got a flat zone KO. That's a knockout. They're not running no level concept on that shit. Okay, it's a specific reason why I run that. Now in regs, they'll get cheap, easy completions off of it, but how long are they going to want to take cheap completions? Eventually, people want to go downfield, right? You sit right there, wait for the running back, whatever. And it just comes screaming, bro. Like it's good versus these trips and tray sets because you're forcing the running back to block. A lot of people come out in these tray sets and they just start swinging their halfback out and, having lollipop throws to the running back. No, we force you to block his ass, and then we're pressuring you before we're in the backfield before your routes develop. You running these little crazy ass little fucking whip routes and China routes where you're turning your body around. Well, before you turn your body around, I'm already in the backfield. You're not going to have time to throw that. That's what I want to do versus people that want to have one running back there, and you want to spread me out. I want to impose my will. I want to strike fear. All right. Now, the only thing with that tray set, you have to bring that safety down. If you don't bring that safety down and inside, then he's not necessarily always going to win that number 3 matchup from the right side. Now, to the left side, it's a little bit different story. The safety tends to play it a little bit better. But from the right side, you have to move him. If not, then you're going to have to plaster your linebacker to cover it. Or you have to make adjustments elsewhere. And I'll give you a good example of a situation where, I need to make an adjustment, right? Find one. If there's like a stock route concept. Looking though. All right, I'll teach you how to stop slants, right? Watch this. All right, so if I'm playing people particularly in the red zone, you're gonna be doing something different than a third. There's another thing that quarters are really good at. Now, if you're playing mud, remember what I was telling you about the flat zone KOs and stuff like that? You're gonna put an outside quarter first. Before you do that, you're gonna shade them. So you're gonna get a user shade because you're a man. You're gonna user shade. Go ahead and press and put an outside quarter. Now I'm gonna protect the quick pass with a seam flat. And I'm going to change the edge. So I'm going to have to crash the line and then put the seam flat over there like that. But then as far as everything else goes, same thing. Quarter man. And then just kind of watch how this outside quarter gets a jam on that slant. Which pay attention. I'm teaching you how to get every super win animation in press coverage using these match zones. Okay? This is an outside quarter press versus slants. It's a nice little jam. The seam flat takes the running back. You don't have nothing. Especially in the red zone, you'll see a lot of people run that little Y stick. Let me give you a good example where you'll see a lot of people running this shit. And it's so repetitive. Like, I see it too much to not sit here and tell you this. Okay, when people get down here, they'll come out in these type of formations and they'll run like a Y stick. So I'll show you how to stop it. So you're going to shade it inside, quarter, seam flat. And I'll just go quarter right there. And then I could either hook or seam flat the I'll probably go with hook on Crosby. I can put hook, or I can go vertical hook with the defensive end. As Crosby's highlighted, I want to make sure that he's going to keep ball, right? So I can actually slide them over there, just like that. Make sure that's exactly how I want to do it. And he's not going to be able to. He's not going to have that flat or the seam. Now I would have been taking that. Give me one sec.
Let's go now.
Yeah, let me guard down. Right. It's going to be a super win. Take that away. I'll show you what happened. Show you what didn't happen.
Let's go.
But that outside quarter is going to press this just good enough to slow it down. And then you're going to have protection on the seam flat. Now, he not necessarily going to always get that. Now, if it comes to a situation where you feel like that's going to be the priority, like you can change it up. Like you put him in a hard flat, seam flat combo with the vert hook in the quarter. So we can actually slide them over there, sit right like that. And with this, I'll have to wait on that slant. You see right there, we just kind of plaster to it and carry the coverage. It's kind of like a cover two carry defense. You know, you just carry to each match zone, and then they refocus to the quarterback. So the hard flat is going to match the slant quickly right to the seam flat. Seam flat's just sitting there waiting on it. Hard flat's going to go straight to the running back. Seam flat's going to help bracket the running back as the slant gets passed off to my user. I got a bracket. I know I got him in a vert hook, though. Now, the only thing with the vert hook, it tends to, like if he tries to quick pass that, the vert hook picks it. So there's like a small window that he potentially, now what you could do is actually shade underneath, vert hook it, seam flat, hard flat. And then, because I'm shaded underneath, I don't technically need to put a match zone on it, but I'm going to. Because I'm shaded underneath now. The shade underneath is going to be a little bit more aggressive sometimes. So, like, I probably shouldn't put a quarter. I could probably put a soft squat. So, shade underneath first. Vert hook, flat, seam flat, quarter, soft squat. Let's see how that works. Always want to shade first when you're in the red zone. You see right there, that's plastered. He ain't got nothing. Shade before you put your coverages on the field. So I can go inside, shade underneath, and then I can go quarter, and I can put him in a hard flat. Do it like that. Slide him over. I know he'll cover the hard flat. Now he's not going to be as quick to get to the flat because it's match on. Or if I just want him to cover him completely by himself, I could just man him up, shade underneath, shade inside, put him in that quarter press, quarter, soft squat. So this is experimental, but we'll see how it works. I could have ran to that And then I think the other way people can defend it is they could scissor. Usually it'd be like a scissor, and I'm just putting my user. They're like that, and then I can just take that. As long as you shade underneath, you should get a knockout or something. But that's just, something that you could do from it. Now, if I'm dealing with people that run iPhone, see, that's what I do versus shotgun one back. If I'm dealing with people that run pro sets and stuff like that, let's say I'm dealing with a wing pair, okay, or something of the sort. I'm not sure if they got one. They got a wing. Okay, they got a wing pair. Usually, sometimes you deal with like RPO slants. I don't see an RPO slant. I see a Y stick. That's the closest I can get. So it'd be like a show blitz. And usually, like with man alignments, sometimes you'll get like some weird ass alignments. But you're gonna sit right here on this safety. I'm just gonna kind of check for things. See, that's gonna be bracketed with match cover. He's not always gonna get that. But you see that corner with match on, even though he's in a third, he's gonna take this slant wherever he goes. See how he kind of followed to him? If you have flat zone KO and mutt, he's gonna knock that slant out all fucking day as long as you show blitz. Okay? He has no other route over there to worry about. You're gonna get bracket help with the seam flat. He throws that slant in mud. You got a KO on it, he's not catching it. Now regs, he'll get a few yards. So you kind of play with it. Sometimes you could just put a hook over there. So you kind of take it away from him. It's like force him to go somewhere else. Sometimes you just play with it. Or you could just sit over there and use it. It doesn't matter. I'm not sure if I can use or shade it. If I sit on it, maybe. You're not going to throw it if I sit on it. But you get the idea. It's just something that I thought you guys should know. Especially if you're dealing with RPOs, that blitz right there is good for dealing with RPOs. If I'm dealing with someone that likes to fucking run stretch runs, it's going to be cover 4 quarters. And I'll give you a good example. I'll find one. That iPhone close. Stretch. All you got to do in this, show blitz and individually back off both corners and make sure he doesn't drop to the line. It should look like that. You should bag stretch runs. Like they're not running no stretch on you, but like simple setup. You should bag stretch runs. Try to run a stretch when you want to, it's going to get back. So that's one of the key things about my defense. Now, that was with the coverage one. Now, if you want to run commit without having your secondary commit, you can do that, right? You're like, huh? I'll show you. Show blitz. You still run it the same way, but you know where the run is going. What we can do now is we can actually crash our line, and you notice how the secondary isn't blitzing, just the guys in the box. Okay, so now we turned it into a blitz. Should be even more aggressive at getting after the running back. If you feel like you need that extra help, you have that option. Okay, so again, just crash. Now this does not work. Like if you're playing regs and you have a custom playbook, this trick will not work. Okay, I don't know why, but it just doesn't. If you run a custom, it's only going to let you crash these 3 right here. And it's going to put you at a severe disadvantage. So do not run no custom as defense. All right? Run that shit, stop. So you get the most out of it. Might actually have to blitz my user as well. You could force everything to the outside. But obviously you would need better safeties to do that trick and play the run pick game. You would need a better D line up front for sure. But for the most part, you don't need to. Just run the outside quarters, you can be fine. But I guess, you know, if you're done with, if they pass the ball, you could send the blitz like that. I don't think that's a very good run blitz, but I mean it'll work sometimes. But other than that, you can just run stock quarters like this, and you know it's going to bag the stretch runs. So not really a lot. That's really just the 3-4, and then I think other than that, you know, obviously, you know, you got to see me run my dime defense. So, obviously, I'll use this when they start running those little gimmicky ass formations and shit. Or gun empty, really, is the main point when you'll see me run it. Like the empty base flex. And they're looking for like some glitchy ass, like they're looking for like verts. You don't see the other play or this red zone play you'll see people use. Now, there's a lot of different stuff that you can consider based off of what people are beating you with. First thing, as soon as you line up, just spread your linebacker. You just slide your line or whatever for like whatever it is you need to do. Usually, I'll just kind of start off. I'll put 2 press thirds on, and then both of the slots, I'll shade both of them inside. So usually, I'll have a favorable matchup. All right. If I have a lot of field over the top of me, I don't shade the coverage. Okay. Sometimes if you shade underneath and you guess wrong, and they'll bomb over the top of you. Just run it stock and see what their tendencies are first. So I just sit right here and wait really for something to come to me. So I feel like, okay, he's going to keep running that check down. Then I'll gravitate to defend the check down, right? So if I know he's going to keep doing that, I'll actually shade outside. And then I can defend his route. So he's going to run that. Now I can come back inside, kind of slow that down. Now, if I know he's going to keep running that dig, I'm going to go back and look at the route. He has nothing really going deep other than that corner route. So it really comes down to how do you want to defend it, right? So option A, I can put a curl flat with a quarter. Shade him outside, put him in a flat, and run it like that. And see how it plays out. Quarter should take the end. He does. He jams the fuck out of me. You seen that? Like, bro couldn't even. Bro. Like, that quarter jammed the fuck out of that route. Like, dude couldn't get into the fucking in route at all. Look at this shit. I got the curl route sitting over there. Now, the only thing about that is he's not, like, he's going to bracket. I guess he's going to help bracket underneath. He didn't really go to where I wanted him to, but that's fine. Let me experiment with the deep half. So it'll be deep half, quarter, third, shade outside, hard flat, shade inside right there. Let me see how this combo works. He jammed him up, bro. He did it again. That's a super win animation if I ever seen one. But slow it down and see. So that's the outside quarter versus these base empties on the trip side. You see right there, he just jams he can't run his route. Now I do have an inside shade on, I could actually shade that underneath. So outside quarter. Now you're not going to be able to get all these adjustments in every fucking time. You know, it's not going to work like that. You know, so just put in the adjustments that people tend to attack, and then just gradually take things away. And that's the inside. All right, so that was the underneath shade with it. I want to see if that affected my quarter adjustment any. He just jammed that in route. That dude couldn't even run his in route. And you can see the underneath actually got good position leverage on the tight end. So now that tells me that I could actually bracket. Instead of running a deep half, I can run a quarter to take the number 3. So let's do this again. Shade underneath first, and then position everyone where they need to be, and then put my zones on the field. Take that third, put it into an inside quarter so that he takes the tight end. And then now you just sit right here. I'm chilling. And that's going to be the bracket on the quarter. So you have an over the top and a defender underneath. Now in regs, in mud, I'm going to have a deep out zone KO, not a deep end KO. He's going to have mid zone KO, deep out zone KO, and all that is done. You ain't running corner on that quarter route, that inside quarter. That takes crossers away. It takes corner routes away. It takes seam streaks away. Like deep out zone KO is what you need, not deep end. Deep end is limited. All right, so shade underneath, then individually shade the slots. I actually want to put him. And put the quarter on the back side, on the trip side. There's going to be double quarters. And the third over there. And then anything that comes to me, you're not throwing that, bro. Not for real. Sometimes they get lucky and get that animation, but they don't get that for real. Especially if you turn around fast enough. It'll be just like that. He has nowhere to go. So that's just how a bag empties. It gets to a point where they get tired of the 3-4 defense. They come out and empty start everything out. What they fail to realize is my gun empty defense is just as aggressive. You can see right there, I'm bagging both of those in routes underneath. I got a bracket bag on the corner route. I got his flat zone covered. He has a narrow window with that fade route, but Jack Jones is pretty aggressive on the ball. So that's going to be the adjustment. So before you do anything while you're in man coverage, shade underneath, then individually shade, then set your zones. And make sure you get that last one off. And anything tries to come to me, that shit's bad, bro. You're not hitting it. So that's how you defend base empty sets. Pretty easy. The best way to teach you is slowly. Okay. Simple way to start off is just running like a cover 3 on the outside, man, in the slots. That's the default way that I'll start running it. Once I see you start running certain underneath concepts, then I start throwing the quarters in to bag up those underneath in routes and shit. If I feel like that's what you're going for. You see right there, you start checking down. I'm like, oh, okay, you want to check down. Well, I'm going to start respecting the check down, and I might decide to use her if you change his route. Like I said, I'll don't know if a cross man it may be. Let's see. Maybe inside quarter. Actually, no way. I shoot the bag. But you see gun empty so much, man. It gets to a point where you know how to defend it regardless what they do. You know, they come out in quads, I know how to defend it. You know, it doesn't I'm not intimidated by gun empty sets. I've done seen it so many times. I've seen people try to audible glitch from, you know, gun empty to regular or gun bunch to gun empty. You know, I've seen every fucking possible combo people do, and I just take the tendency away. Like if I anticipate it, I'm already, you know, I'm locked in. You know, people, apple don't fall too far from the tree, man. If somebody does something, even myself, if I do something and it works, you know, I'm gonna go back to it even if it stops working. I mean, we're only human, right? But hopefully that helps you guys out. You know, Madden 25 around the block, NCAA around the block, man. Y'all want a real defense, or you know, y'all want some good offensive concept. I'm guaranteeing you that there's not going to be a better channel out there for that shit than me. All right, like I'm not going to be doing no meta ass shit. Like I'm not going to do no copy paste that everybody else is running. I'm going to be running my own shit, and it's going to work. And I'm going to teach it to you guys. Okay. But other than that, I need to give me a little sleep because I got a crazy ass day at work that I got to do today, and I just got off my other job. Tired, bro. These 100-hour weeks. But appreciate y'all tuning in. Hopefully this video helps you guys.